Hey, what is going on, guys? Inferno LH here, and today, welcome back to another underrated weapons video. If you have any recommendations for any underrated weapons that you'd like to see in a future video, please just leave a comment down below, and I may get to it. Also, before we get right on into the weapons, could you please like and subscribe to my channel? I'd really appreciate it. I will also leave the link to my Discord server in the description of this video if you want to join that. But anyways, let's get straight on into the weapons. Okay, so the first weapon that we have on today's list is the Xenon Staff. This is actually a pretty great summon, but you're not going to get this till like later on in the game. This is fairly end game of a weapon, because this is obtained from the Martian Madness event. So you kind of have to go out of your way to get a Martian probe to spawn and do the whole event, and you may not even get it as a guaranteed drop, so that's really why it's underrated. But the weapon is a drop from the Martian Saucer, the mini boss kind of thing at the end of the event. So it's not a rare drop within the event, but it may take you a couple tries to get it, so that's probably why it's kind of rare. But this weapon, this summoning weapon, is actually really great. So if you're doing a summoner loadout, I would really recommend getting this thing because, well, it can actually help you very well to fight Moonlord with it and all the pillars, because it's actually very powerful. What it does is it'll spawn like a small little UFO, and they will fly around the map and shoot lasers at the enemies in the area. And these lasers actually are pretty accurate, I gotta say. They hit like the target every single time. I don't even see it miss. It does like 36 base damage, so it's not that much base damage, but you can easily get that up with more minions and accessories that increase your damage. So overall, this is a really great weapon. I would really recommend going for it. I mean, if you're not a summoner loadout, it's not a big deal to skip this one. It really isn't. But if you're a summoner, definitely go for this. It's worthwhile. Next up on the list, we have the Coin Gun. You've probably already heard of this weapon, and you probably already know why it's underrated. But anyways, I'll talk about that in just a bit. This weapon is actually very, very powerful, and probably one of the best ranged weapons in the game, if not even the best. Like, it's very powerful. Anyways, it's obtained from the Pirate Invasion. It's actually really rare to get, so that's another reason why it's underrated. It's quite rare. It's a 1 in 4,000 drop chance from any enemy in the Pirate Invasion, or it's a 1 in 1,000 drop chance from the pirate enemy itself, just that regular pirate captain enemy, or it's even more common from the Flying Dutchman. Still, overall, it's quite rare and a little out of the way to get, so it would take quite a while to farm. And even then, when you do get this weapon, it's so expensive, man. So this weapon uses coins as ammunition, so you can probably already tell why it's underrated, because it's just so expensive. I mean, the higher rarity of coins, like platinum does more damage than the copper coins, by far. So if you really want to use this weapon, just farm a bunch of platinum coins or even cheat. But anyways, it does so much damage. The damage is insane. If you have platinum coins, like I cheated in a stack of them, and the DPS is just crazy with it, dude. It's so amazing, but it's really rare and expensive to use, so I really understand why no one uses it. Next up on our list, we have the Aqua Scepter. This is a pretty decent weapon as well, and it's really not that difficult to get at all. I mean, you could technically get unlucky and not get it, but anyways, this weapon is obtained from just the golden locked chests in the dungeon, or you can also get it from the locked boxes from fishing. This weapon is actually really great. It does 26 base damage. For a mage weapon, that's really great, considering you can get this just after you defeat Skeletron, and can be used for really the entirety of pre-hard mode until you defeat Wall of Flesh. And it's actually really similar to the Golden Shower, the Ichor one, whereas it shoots like a little stream of water that does actually pierce enemies. So you can shoot through multiple different enemies, which is very useful. It does really good DPS for bosses, and it even does good against like events and area clearing because of that piercing. I know in the gameplay, as you can tell here, I'm doing pretty good DPS to Deerclops. He's probably like one of the hardest pre-hard mode bosses, but I deal pretty good DPS, and I made him go in his invincibility mode by going too far away from him. I didn't realize that was a feature because I haven't fought him in so long, but I realized later on in the fight. Overall, this is a pretty good weapon, easy to get, so I'm not really sure why this is that underrated. I would recommend trying this weapon out if you're a mage, because well, this will just push you very far through pre-hard mode. Like, easily, you can use this all the way up till hard mode once you obtain it. Next up on our list, we have the Molten Fury. This is a really great ranged weapon, or a bow, that you can use. It's pretty easy to obtain. All it takes one crafting ingredient, just hellstone bars. That's it, and you can easily farm tons of that. And I would really recommend doing that, because you can get lots of great weapons with hellstone. But the Molten Fury is one of those weapons that is really great if you're a ranged class. You can get this, well, at the end of pre-hard mode, really, because you can't get hellstone really that early on. But it's pretty great bow, and you can use it to defeat wall flesh very easily. It does 31 base damage, which is pretty decent, but it also has a nice special bonus where it will turn your regular arrows into flaming arrows, which will just give you even more DPS by, well, giving the burning effect to any enemy or boss that you're shooting at. So it's really nice, and well, even if the arrows drop on the floor, I believe you can actually pick them up as flaming arrows for some reason. But that's actually pretty nice. Overall, this is a pretty great weapon. I don't really know why more people don't use this. Probably because it won't get you that far in the game. It's obtained in late pre-hard mode, and it's not going to get you that far into hard mode if I'm being completely honest. But it is a pretty great bow and easy to get, so might as well just try it out. And the last weapon on the list for today's video is Golem's Fist. This is a pretty decent and basic weapon, I gotta say. It's not too out of the way to get because, well, it's just a drop from Golem. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but it's not even that rare. But you could definitely get unlucky and have to farm Golem many times, so that's probably why people don't even use it. But it does overall pretty decent DPS. It does 90 base damage, which is actually pretty great. I mean, this is a later on weapon, so 90 is, I guess, fairly average, but it does pretty good DPS. So the weapon itself, it's kind of like a flail, I guess. It works kind of like the flare-on weapon from Duke Fishron without the bubbles, but it has pretty decent range. It shoots out like a Golem's Fist on a chain. And what's interesting about it is if you get really close to an enemy, you're going to be dealing a lot more DPS because, well, at range, it takes longer for the Golem Fist to get there, and as you can see, I'm standing right next to Golem so that I can keep punching him rapidly. I take a lot of damage, so it may not be the best to do that at all times, so I'd back up when, well, obviously when you're taking lots of damage. But it's pretty great for doing that for getting lots of DPS in at once. Overall, the weapon's not too bad. It's not going to get you, like, I wouldn't recommend using it for Moonlord, although you might be able to. I've never really tried. Probably better off getting something else. But it's pretty decent, I gotta say, and it's not too difficult to get, so I'd recommend trying this one out if you're interested. But anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. And let me know your thoughts on these weapons. I'd love to see more. I've seen lots of different comments on these videos giving their opinions and just their overall thoughts on these weapons, so please leave a comment down below what you think about these weapons, if they deserve to be on this list or if they just suck. Also, if you have any other weapon suggestions that you think are underrated, please comment that down below and I may get to it in a future video. But anyways, if you did enjoy, could you please like and subscribe to my channel? I'd really appreciate it, as over 90% of people who do watch my videos are not subscribed. I will also leave the link to my Discord server in the description of this video if you want to go ahead and join that. But anyways, that is going to be it, and goodbye.